I'm a little bit out of practice. I'm going to put a series of questions to you all in a very direct way. Please know that it's not personal. Please know that if I ask to reclaim my time to move on to the next question, I'm not doing that to be rude, but our time is limited. We've had some preliminary testimony here today about the natures of conflict of interest. I think that's at the heart of some of the allegations that have been made, quite frankly, and I'd rather not talk about them hypothetically. I'd rather talk about them directly. So I'll put my questions through you, Madam Chair. As the chair of the board, how would you define a conflict of interest?
Conflict of interest is a situation where there is, an interest, an influence in terms of a direct conflict.
And so that would include kind of beneficiary, fiduciary benefits to it, or other types of benefits to decisions that are made. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
That's correct. Have you added, so I'll begin, and again, I'm going to put these questions directly to you rather than hypothetically. Are you currently the CEO of North Star?
Enerstore, yes, I am.
Enerstore?
The chair and CEO of Enerstore, yes.
And is Enerstore currently on the conflict of interest registry?
Yes, it is.
And are you listed as one of the beneficial owners of that?
Yes, I am.
And were you, at any time, was your company in receipt of funding from the fund that you also chair?
I want to make one thing very clear, Honourable Member. Contrary to erroneous reports and allegations, no project that I have an interest in has applied for funding while I've been chair of STTC.
Was it before?
It was 18 months before.
Had it received the funding prior to?
It had, in 18 months before my appointment as chair, Enerstore was funded for a project, yes.
And were there any potential votes that would have been dealing with your organization? Did it come to the board, and if so, did you?
At the time, obviously, when I was asked to be chair, I disclosed my role as CEO of Enerstore to the government, to the vetting process.
Sorry, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to put it directly, and I'm going to ask you to answer it.
Minister,
Excuse me, I do have the floor. Did you, at any time that you were on the board, vote on any motions that would have involved your organization, Enerstore?
No.
Okay. So you never had to recuse yourself from any decisions, funding, ongoing renewals of contracts, or anything of that nature?
No.
Okay. That suffices. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to describe the part? You're okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. I just wanted to put that out there because, again, allegations are made. It's important that we just directly ask the questions, that we're not using hypothetical situations, and you have the opportunity to reply in the public forum.
Can I add something to that answer?
Unfortunately, not at this moment. Do you accept the findings of the RCGT report?
I think there's a lot of errors in the RCGT report, and I'm going to ask Leah to...
Can you provide those in writing? That
Yes,
would be
we-
more
and we
beneficial
have.
for my testimony.
So yes, I don't have to go through the chair, pardon me. That was provided in your background.
Yeah.
The staff...
There's a pretty big discrepancy there.
Yeah, the team put together the list and we provided them, in particular related to certain reviews related to conflict of interest as well as other items.
Okay. Mr. McConnachie, is that correct? Thank you. How long was the initial fact-finding exercise process supposed to take place?
The first phase of it was contracted for approximately 8 weeks, about half of that being field work.
Okay. And forgive me if you've already testified on this. Did the RCGT and ISED sit down with the whistleblower and review the allegations?
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you reframe the question? I'm not sure I quite understood.
Did you sit down with the whistleblowers, with ISED, and review the allegations?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I reviewed the extensive binder that the complainant had created, and then as I mentioned in my opening statement, had almost weekly meetings with him throughout the process.
And so you asked the whistleblowers for documents in July?
No, the documents were provided to ISED in February.
In February?
Yes.
Is ISED now continuing to ask for the documents?
I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding. What documents are you referring to?
From the whistleblower.
The whistleblower, ISED's involvement in this exercise came about when PCO had referred the whistleblower's documentation to us. It was a very large approximately 345-page binder that we had received on February 16th. And after internally reviewing that material, the decision was made to launch a fact-finding exercise.
Did you speak to the deputies, the PCO, or the minister directly or indirectly between March and September?
I did not, no.
Not at all?
Not at all. Well, to the deputy minister, yes, of course. I report to the deputy minister, but I've had no engagement with the minister or his exempt staff.
What was the ISED RCGT report or PCO opinion of the Osler investigation that you said was a whitewash?
We had minimal discussions. I certainly never discussed it with in any degree of detail with PCO, but we had received the debrief from the STDC committee that had.
So what was the nature of your discussions then with ISED or RCGT?
Frankly, there was, ISED was not involved in the Osler review. We didn't have visibility into the methodology or any real details.
Last question. Are your reports back and forth verbal on the phone or are they
Very
via
quick
email?
answer.
We had a Teams meeting where we were debriefed verbally by the lawyers who conducted the review at Osler.
Were the notes
Thank you.
summarized?
Thank you, Mr. Green.
No?
Mr.
You had
McConnachie,
meetings but
thank you.
didn't summarize the notes
Ms.
when you were done?
Verschuren, I know you wanted to, we've completed our first round here. I know that there was something that you wanted to add. I'm going to give you the opportunity in a minute or less to add what you wanted to add to Mr. Green.
Yes, I wanted to, on the declaration of the project that I worked on, that NRSTOR represented, it was 18 months before. I proactively disclosed my role as CEO of NRSTOR to the government during the vetting, to the minister, to the department, and to STTC. I also went to the ethics commissioner because I wanted to be clear that this was something that I would be comfortable, that it would be comfortable for me to do this. And I spent 2 hours with the ethics commissioner. And I think that's really, so I want to be 100% clear, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
that-
I know you wanted to say something,
Thank
so I wanted to give you that opportunity. Thank you. We're going to start with our second round now. We're going to go to Mr. Cooper for 5 minutes. Mr. Cooper, go ahead.